Just two short things this morning about these readings that we've heard. Because you can't skip over that first reading easily. That wonderful story of Abraham, Sarah, and the announcement that they're going to be the parents of all the people of Israel. And the lovely, quiet episode in the tent where Sarah laughs at such a ridiculous notion. There are two parts of that story that are significant to us. The one is the simple act of hospitality. This whole event happens because of the Middle Eastern custom of hospitality. We can imagine in the olden days when people traveled between towns or villages in that part of the world, it was hot and it was dusty and there were no hotels or McDonald's, and they were utterly dependent on the hospitality of strangers. And Abraham understands that as part of who he is, and he welcomes these strangers, not just a little bit, but with great joy, and has a little feast for them. And we can imagine that one of the reasons he is called by God is his ability to do that, to be hospitable to the stranger, and to recognize that in them he may be indeed seeing God's presence in his own life. And in return they make this announcement that he will now become the father of generations. And then Sarah is included in the story as the vital part. It's not just that she's been, we can imagine, out there organizing this nice feast that he has presented to them, and been an almost invisible presence to the event. And suddenly, as they are about to leave as a blessing, she becomes the most central character in the whole story. That it really is a story about Sarah, because she is the mother of all these generations. That image of Middle Eastern hospitality lies behind the gospel reading as well. Because Jesus, as we know, spent a number of years traveling through the countryside, and he must have been tremendously dependent on the hospitality of strangers. And he comes to this village where Mary and Martha live. And this may be the same Mary and Martha who are in the Gospel of John, in which case the town that he's come to is Bethany, and they are the sisters of Lazarus. Or it may not be. It doesn't make any difference, because the heart of the matter is this exchange with Martha about Mary. And the heart of that is, first of all, that there is this continued expectation of hospitality. So we know that Martha is living into that divine practice, welcoming the stranger into her home, and working hard to make sure it's a good party on his behalf. But the truth is that that's what Mary is supposed to be doing as well. Mary is supposed to be out there in the kitchen, helping Martha get this feast together. And she's supposed to be there by custom, because that's what the women did. They sat in the kitchen and they made the meal, and they stepped aside. They were not players in the story. So the heart of this story is that Mary breaks that mold. Mary understands that the so social expectations of her to stay in the kitchen and prepare the meal are subservient to the calling to be in the presence of Christ. She understands herself not as a humble servant in the kitchen, but as a disciple. And she has heard his message, and that every person, she has heard him say this about foreigners, about widows, about people who are mentally ill, that every person is called to discipleship. And she is determined on this visit that she will come to the fullness of understanding of herself as a disciple. Next week, she may go back to the kitchen, but she will go back to the kitchen as a disciple of Christ with an understanding of the fullness of what that means. And this story is not meant to value Mary over Martha, though Jesus says Mary has chosen the better part. Not meant to value contemplation and prayer over activity and service, but rather it's meant to embrace the idea that service is discipleship, that service and attentiveness to Christ are the fullness of discipleship. In the history of the church, it went on to be viewed often in this story that Mary models the contemplative life and Martha models the active life. And maybe that's true enough to say on one level in this story. But the heart of the story is that the active life is the contemplative life. And we are all called to understand our active lives, because we all have active lives. We understand those active lives as an embodiment of discipleship. And the more that we can understand ourselves as disciples carrying out ministries in Christ's name, then the more powerful is our life in terms of God's name. So we sit this morning in this lovely place in the company of both Mary and Martha, and understand that we are them.